And welcome everybody to this fourth edition of the OEFC Outlet. I'm Brian Gordon, Administrator of OEFC. Love having you guys here. Love doing this for the club. Just want to make sure that everybody's kind of caught up to speed with what's going on in the club, where we're at, some of the news and the happenings in the club. Feel like this is a great way to do so. So, this is sit back and enjoy. We've got a really great agenda for you today. Talk about Beat the Heat. Beat the Heat was a lot of fun last week and had a tremendous amount of success. The kids were able to come out and really just kind of test themselves, kind of get a feel of the teams, and Beat the Heat is a great place for that to happen. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about Paint the Pitch Pink. For those of you who are new to the club, Paint the Pitch Pink is a big giving back program that we do to center around the fight against breast cancer. We'll talk a little bit more on that. And then now we have the kickoff of the fall leagues coming up at the next weekend, as a matter of fact. So we'll look at the teams, look at the leagues that we're in, and give you a little bit of a preview on what's happening there. And then finally, we're going to talk to Dave Kunitz. He is the director of our college placement program. A lot of great insight into if you're thinking about playing in college or if you're just really dedicated to getting into college and playing soccer in college. He's going to be the man to talk to, so we'll glean some information from him and get some of his thoughts on that. So let's get straight to it. Beat the Heat. Incredible event for us, hosted by Edmond Soccer Club. Really appreciate all the volunteers, all the staff of Edmond Soccer Club that came out and put out a wonderful tournament. Tons of teams out there, a lot of activity. Absolutely loved seeing all the kids and the new kids out there as well. Had a tremendous amount of success as well. If you look across the winners and the finalists that the OEFC produced in that one tournament alone, we had 16 champions and 11 finalists across all of our teams. So a lot of success for our teams across all age groups, all the way from our youngest age groups to our oldest age groups. Really had a great time, heard nothing but positive things about the tournament. Even with the rain, even with some of the heat and the humidity, it ended up being really, really great. So again, thank you to Edmond Soccer Club for hosting that and supporting our club, supporting our competitive teams, giving us a great opportunity, a great place to play some really wonderful teams from Texas, from Arkansas, from across the state of Oklahoma. It was great seeing some of our rivals that we're used to seeing. Paint the Pitch Pink. We have this coming up in October. So again, for those of you who aren't familiar with Paint the Pitch Pink, it's where we as a club come together and support the fight against breast cancer. We've done this now for almost 7 or 8 years, I believe. This was last year's T-shirt. And so once again, we're going to come back together, raise funds, and we provide these funds to a wonderful nonprofit here in Oklahoma City called Project 31, where they help with people who are fighting against breast cancer from an emotional and mental state. We've supported them for a long time. They do a lot of wonderful things for the cause, and we really are excited to be able to continue to support them. So something a little bit new as well this year. This year's T-shirt is being designed by our 03-04 ECNL girls team. A little bit of a shift. We're going to start having our girls teams, the oldest aging out girls teams, do the design every year. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I've seen some of the designs, ideas that they have submit, and they're really, really pretty cool. So we're finalizing on those designs. We'll get that out to you pretty quickly, I think. But more importantly, orders are opening up in September. So look for that. That's when we will want everybody to come together as a team and rally behind this cause. Everybody grab a T-shirt, get a T-shirt. T-shirts will probably be about $20 each, and the funds raised by those T-shirts will go to that Project 31 nonprofit that we've been supporting for some time. And then we expect everybody, the team, to paint the pitch pink, to wear those shirts during warm-ups at games, wear those shirts during practices for the month of October, and we'll do our part to fight breast cancer. So look for that. More information to come out via email on that, but really something that'll be exciting to do. Moving on, looking at the league kicking off this season. We have games coming up as soon as next week, and games paced out a little bit into September. starting from the top down. So boys ECNL, our first games are going to be in August 23rd at ESC. 6 boys, ages 09 through the 03-04, our top age group. Really some great games to come out and look and watch some of these teams in action. For the girls, they start a little bit later. Their first games are going to be in September, on September 5th at ESC as well. 6 different age groups participating in that. Something new for our club this year is our ECNL regional leagues for both the boys and the girls. That's kind of the tier step down from ECNL, and they're going to follow the same type schedule, play the same teams or same clubs that our ECNL does. So should be a lot of really great competition on that. For our boys, they start September 11th at ESC. For our girls, they'll start in September 5th at ESC at the same time as the ECNL top teams will be playing. So mark those on your calendar. You'll want to get out to ESC to watch some of these games. It's going to be a lot of fun. As far as the rest of the club, we have our FCL teams. This is a regional league where we play North Texas teams. We have 4 OEFC boys and girls teams competing in this league. It's a feeder into the National League from a USYS standpoint. Some great competition, especially if anybody's familiar with Dallas clubs. They always put some great teams on the field, and this is going to be no exception. We're really eager to see how we match up with them. So their first games are going to be in August 29th in North Texas. Just for your point of record, it looks like the plan is in September 25th and 26th is for the South Texas teams to come play in Oklahoma on our side of the state. We are hoping and anticipating that that'll be played at ESC. Schedule will be defined, but mark that on your calendars as well. A great time to get out to see those clubs and those games played. And then, of course, OPL kicks off as soon as this upcoming weekend. We have 51 OEFC boys and girls teams competing in OPL across all age groups. So really, this is where we love to support our teams, development teams, all the way up to our Navy teams, to really our top end teams. This is a great competition. We're going to be playing against the rivals that we're used to playing against, and really should be a lot of fun. So mark it on your calendars. There's going to be OPL games basically every weekend throughout the year. Some really fun things, both at NOKC and ESE. And then we do have one team that is venturing out and playing in the North Texas Regional Premier League. That's our 2010 boys. So we wish them a lot of luck. They're going to be playing all their games in Texas, so it should be a lot of fun for them. Again, matching up against some of those really top Dallas teams, and they start on the 29th. So watch our website because we'll be posting the schedules as soon as they are fully released. Almost there, not quite have it public ready, but once they become public ready, we'll be updating our website with appropriate leads and how to get to those schedules so that you guys can figure out how to get out there and see our teams play. So with that, we'll get into really the more important part of this program, and that's bringing David Kunitz and talking a little bit about our college program and the things that we can do. So David, welcome to OEFC Outlet and to the OEFC membership. I know that some are very, very familiar with you, and others, this is the first time of seeing you and meeting you, but we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So if you could sum up kind of your ideas around our OEFC college program, what are some of the objectives that you're wanting to roll out this year?
Sure. Yeah, great question. Thanks for having me, Brian. I think the most important thing is that we want to offer the opportunity for all players to continue playing after OEFC. A lot of the players and families have invested a lot of time and a lot of money, and we want every player that has the desire to continue their soccer career to do that. And so the way that we help the individual players is start to connect them with local colleges and colleges across the country. We give as much information as we can. We help the process, explain the process, and then really just become a kind of an advocate or a resource just to go back and forth between the player, between the coach, between the parent. So my personal opinion that this is a multi kind of faceted approach. It's not just you see on TV the football coach is in the stands watching somebody score the long touchdown, and they're waiting outside the locker room with a college scholarship offer. So it's a balance. You have to think about the athletic needs, have to think about the academic needs. You're going to a recognized institution. You want to graduate from that institution, so you want a meaningful degree. And then obviously the college offers such a neat opportunity in your life just to grow and develop into a mature young person. So there's a social aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it from my perspective, having two kids who have gone through college and one of them who played in college, is that balance of, what kind of program in college do you want to play soccer in, but mostly what kind of college do you want to get an education from? Where what are you going to do after that or after your college soccer career that you need to prepare for in college, and is a school particularly the best choice for you?
Yeah. We'll even go back into the youth part for us as coaches. We want to present opportunities for our young players to grow and develop. We want to put them in situations that allow them to develop, who they are as a person, what type of attitude do they want to take onto the field, how do they want to be as a teammate. The exact same thing going into college, right? That's going to be new relationships and just opportunity again to grow. I like to describe the college as really a launching pad or a springboard into, the most meaningful relationships in part of your life, right? Being out of college and moving on into the professional sector is an amazing accomplishment, and we're super excited. We think that by pairing players with the right college program, we give them the best opportunity to be successful long term.
No, I think you said it right. And so for somebody who maybe they're younger, maybe they're not at that point of really getting into a college find, but don't have a good understanding of the college landscape, tell us a little bit about the different levels of college that one might have a choice of.
Sure. Yeah, great. I think the big thing, obviously, there are a lot of different opportunities. Most people are familiar, if you watch ESPN on Saturday, you have all the colleges nailed down. You can talk about the OUs and the OSUs. Luckily, I'm from Canada, so I don't have to pick a side on that one. But
you will have to pick a side at some point, though. You can't live in Oklahoma long enough and just play the fence. I can promise you that.
Might depend on who brings me over for barbecue.
There you go.
But there's five competitions level. The NCAA has a Division I, a Division II, and a Division III. The NAIA is also another intercollegiate athletic organization, and then the NJCAA, which is the Junior College Athletic Association. And so just kind of running through the five of those. NCAA Division I is very similar to what most people recognize: the OUs, the OSUs, the TCUs, the Alabamas. Very competitive. Athletics really becomes almost a job. Again, we're still committed to making sure that our players, student athletes, are graduating, but really becomes fairly rigorous in terms of meetings, in terms of commitment, in terms of what the expectation is of you. I actually just read a stat the other day that said less than 2% of high school athletes that move on end up being Division I players. So when you think about the size of a graduating class, and then you look at, across all sports, you look at about 2%. So great prestige. It's excellent for those players that have that opportunity, but it's really just one place, right? It's one of the five levels. Division II, we've got some fantastic. Actually, Oklahoma has 6 men's and 9 women's Division II programs in and around the area. So Oklahoma Division II is a fantastic place to play. The Division II program, really mix of public and private institutions, just allows a little bit better athletic, academic balance, right? There's a variety of scholarship dollars, awards, and grants, but really gives you a little bit better balance. Use the UCOs as an example, the Southern Nazarenes, different institutions, but both really give a quality product on the soccer field and then the opportunity to excel in the classroom. If I keep moving down the list here, Division III. Division III, really, there are no Division III schools. I don't know how many people know this or not, but no Division III schools in the state of Oklahoma. Probably one of the more successful in the Division III, Trinity University down in San Antonio has had a fantastic track record. But Division III schools, a lot of private institutions, typically a smaller campus, and again, really just that combination of athletic challenge and then the academic excellence. So the one thing that separates Division I, II, and III, Division III programs do not offer any athletic scholarships. The way that you receive awards or grants is a merit-based or need-based or the academic awards. So no athletic scholarships in Division III.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So keep working down my list, Brian. The next one, and I'm a big fan of this, is the NAIA. NAIA, I actually had the opportunity to play, much like many of the staff at OEFC. I came down from Canada to play at Phillips University in Enid, Oklahoma, and then had an opportunity to go to USAO and meet Coach Jimmy Hampton, our director. And I played at NAIA College. NAIA school average probably 2,000 students. So it's a more intimate setting, smaller classrooms, tends to be a tight-knit community. I think when you're comparing NCAA and NAIA, the misconception is that NAIA is not as prolific a program, and the difference is more in where players maybe come from. NAIA have heavy international influence. You go through our OEFC coaching staff again, they draw from across the world, and the ability to get into an NAIA school and start to go through collegiate athletics, but then also to get a meaningful degree is a fantastic opportunity. So Division I, II, III, NAIA, and then the fifth piece for me, national. So the junior college. Junior college is a 2-year degree program, and so players have the opportunity to go. Maybe they couldn't get into their school of choice, and so the junior college route allows them to take college courses, work towards a college degree, and then also work on a GPA. Maybe that allows them to transfer into a bigger school. They do offer athletic aid. They do offer financial aid. So it's a good opportunity maybe to maybe you get an opportunity to stay closer to home. Going to be a smaller setting. Maybe it's just the opportunity for you to learn what the college experience is, but maybe not quite as overwhelming. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that people may have misconceptions are is the level of competition at each one of these levels that we were talking about is high. I mean, you're still playing against the better athletes from across the nation.
Yep.
Where my son played in an NAIA school out of Chicago, he still played some really great teams and some really great athletes, and it created a great environment and experience for a college person who wants to study, wants to get a good degree in, whether it be mechanical engineering or health studies or whatever it is, but also wants to kind of scratch that soccer itch as well.
Yep. Yeah, and that, from my standpoint, that's why, a program like the college placement is so important for all of the membership, is because most people can probably name, the very easy, the more prominent programs. But that's not necessarily the fit for everybody. We want to find the program that you can excel in athletically, the classroom that you will be able to, again, graduate and get a meaningful degree, find those healthy relationships. And so I always tell people, Division I, II, III, every coach wants to win a national championship. NAIA works just as hard as the Division I, right? The coaches are still pushing, the demands are still there. If a player thinks, I'm going somewhere because it's easier, at that point in time, you probably recommend, an intramural or a club setting. But an NAIA program, they're super successful NAIA programs here in the local area. They're competing against the best in the country. They are bringing in players from all over the world. This is a fantastic format for all of the players that are excited to test themselves, right? I would recommend, and this is actually part of my plan, is to send out information on good games, kind of highlight local games. So when there is someone coming into town, can we send out information for the Division II matchups this week? Who's the big NAIA game coming up in the next 2 weeks? And I would encourage people to get out and watch the game. One, it's a lot of fun, but two, it really gives you an opportunity to kind of evaluate the level and see if that's something that you really want to dig in and commit yourself to.
Yeah, I think that's a fabulous idea. I think you're spot on. That would be a great way to kind of just get an understanding of what the culture is like in the different levels. So a player who just wants to get started, where do they start? I mean, if a player is considering college, they understand the different levels now. What's the first thing that they do?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, really the first thing is that active decision, right? To say, hey, I want to be a college soccer player. I'm going to learn a little bit about what the demands are, what the time commitment is. And I think that choice is the first piece. I think after that, then it's having a conversation with your current club coach, talking to your coach. Because coaches see players on a consistent basis, right? 2 to 4 times a week in training and in games. Your immediate OEFC coach is a fantastic resource. A lot of them have played college soccer and beyond. So expressing that interest to your coach to say, hey, coach, I would like the opportunity to play college and soccer. What do you think about that? And I think that initiating kind of that conversation with the coach does two things. One, when you start to verbalize things, you kind of put it into action, right? You start to put it into place, I think. And then the second thing it does is it really allows the coach to network and kind of utilize his or her resources to help direct that individual player. So that's really the first part. Once you talk to your coach, I think then it's going back onto the website. It's utilizing the resources that we have available for all of our membership. It's looking at it and saying, okay, what are the different levels? After that, it's an opportunity to get out and watch some games. Having, again, we touched on it a little bit, but the ability to go and watch a women's game, it is an eye opener, right? The game is faster, the game is more physical than you really picture. I was lucky enough to go back to USAO probably, 7, 8 years ago. I played so long ago, but I was going through town and had an opportunity to go and check in, and I enjoyed my college experience, had a fantastic coach, and really became a soccer coach because of my college experience. But 10 years removed, I was amazed at the physical ability, the physical speed, the demands of the game were so much higher. And so even though I had had the college experience as a player, it was interesting to see that the game changes, the game evolves. And so maybe when you have a conversation with a parent, when you have a conversation based on past or previous experiences, I would say get out there and kind of get everything up to date, right? Go and find out what the current climate is, what the current setting is, and what the styles are like nowadays.
Yep, absolutely. So from looking at your timeline, and I'm thinking kids really need to start making big decisions of what they want to do and start going through the activity freshman year?
Yeah, so I think that because the misconception or, kind of the idea that, a college coach is going to be waiting to, sign you, have you a scholarship piece of paper signed and kind of delivered and it's done. The freshman year really gives you that comfort, that time to start to have the discussion. It allows you to talk to your family. What do we want college to look like? What do we want from our college experience? You've played, competitive soccer, or it could be multiple sports, but you've played them long enough to know I enjoy the pursuit of the excellence. I enjoy testing myself on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and I think that my enjoyment is going to carry me on past high school. So as a freshman, you want to make sure academically that you're on track. NCAA has an eligibility center, and they have a list on their website of core classes. And so what you want to do, because there's a handful of different opportunities nowadays, we've got online and we've got different things from an academic standpoint. We want to make sure that we're taking the right classes so that as we get further along the process, we know that we've done everything and we've kind of taken the necessary steps. What we don't want to do is be missing, maybe it's a science class, maybe missing on a math class as we get further along. And now because our high school schedule doesn't allow us that freedom, we might miss moving from high school into the college opportunity. So academically lining it up, athletically, just starting to talk to coaches, starting to watch games. It really allows you that opportunity to say, hey, what am I gonna, what am I gonna look like in 3 to 5 years? What do I want from this experience? Do I feel like this looks like fun? The other piece is it really allows you to talk as a family, right? Do I as a student athlete, do I feel like I want to go further away from home, right? The initial piece, as a freshman, a lot of people say, hey, it's time for me to go to the beach, and I've got California and I've got Florida listed as my go-to schools, and the reality of it is a lot of people don't need to go halfway across the country, that they might be better served staying a little bit closer. And so just trying to find that balance. Do you want to go to a big school, a small school? Do you want to go for a specific degree program, or do you want to have more of a general study? And having those three, really areas, the academic piece, the athletic piece, and then kind of the social college piece, I think that kick starts, the student athlete for the process.
And then how does that change when you move into a sophomore, junior year?
Yeah, I think, you're 1 year older, you're a little further along, right? So as a sophomore now, typically, 14, 15, we're getting closer to what the NCAA has in terms of when you can talk to coaches, and you're going to be a little further along in the process. One more year of competitive soccer, and you've decided, am I really, again, every year gets a little tougher. We start to present different challenges as the academic workload goes up, as individuals start to decide, do I want to get a job? Do I have other things? Maybe my soccer, maybe I don't have time to dedicate to my craft as a soccer player. And so maybe I decide that, the college route is not going to fit for me. So every year really allows you to reevaluate. There's never a wrong answer. You're never too late to jump back in and try to find the place. But if you progress through that sophomore year, you get 1 year closer to graduation. You've had an opportunity to evaluate many of the colleges in and around the surrounding area. You've had feedback from current coach, and you've had opportunity to maybe attend a showcase or two. You've probably started to show up on the radar. A lot of colleges and camp programs will start to send out mailers, and they'll invite players to ID camps, to college camps. And so again, just walking through that, it's really kind of a checklist. Okay, is this something we still want to do? Yes. I have a better idea of what I think college might look like 2 years away from now. As a family, we've talked academically, and I don't expect my 14-year-old to know what she wants to study and graduate a degree in, but maybe she's gravitating towards something. Maybe there's a health services. Maybe they're compelled to do something math, science, STEM. Maybe it's a creative arts and it's a design. There are some really, really unique schools, really, really unique places to grow as a student athlete.
Awesome. And then senior year, that's really kind of where a lot of the rubber meets the road. You kind of have a better idea of what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'll back up actually. So a little different. On the girls' side, it's really the junior year.
Okay.
So the NCAA has June 15 as kind of the date that they've set, where previous to that June 15th, they aren't allowed to have direct communication and really answer information. Hey, coach, had a chance to did you have a chance to see me play? What did you think? And so really prior to that June 15th, at the end of your sophomore year, most communication is very general. It's filling out questionnaires. It's following people on social media. It's talking through your coach or your club liaison, someone like myself that can help kind of get information between. As you get past that into the junior year is really where now you can ask honest questions. We encourage all the players. I've been fortunate enough to work on the boys and girls side within the club. Had a chance to work with a lot of really talented young people. And what I always encourage them to do is ask honest questions. When you want an answer, ask the question. And most coaches are going to be very honest because they are also trying to find the right fit for their program. So if it's coach, do I have the ability to play at your school? Coach, do I fit the type of student athlete that you're recruiting in here? Coach, do you feel like my skill set would benefit your program? Ask those types of questions, and those coaches will answer, right? The same way that we want to see our players succeed at the collegiate level, that college coach is also doing the same thing. That college coach is making an investment in the young person that they see that will come out of their college, with that meaningful degree, with a productive 4-year soccer career as well.
Right.
Yep.
Cool. And then senior year after the junior year.
Yeah. So senior year tends to, and again, I'll go back to, if you haven't committed through that junior year, that does not mean that that we missed the boat and we're not going to have the opportunity. Typically, as we work down the levels of competition, coaches are going to be casting a wide net, and they're going to be looking at a lot of student athletes. And so as you go through junior into senior, coaches again are going to evaluate where your player is, kind of what level they're playing at, what competition platform are they playing in, how are they doing from a competition standpoint, how is their program evolving, how are their current players, and then maybe what the individual needs are. So junior to senior is really a great time because our players are a little bit more mature. They've had a handful of interactions. They've either watched games, been on campuses, took tours, been to showcases, had some, whether it's college coach feedback or individual coach feedback. They've really started to hone in on what that will look like.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great track record, great explanation of the process for the kids, and I think one of the big key things is make sure you're walking that process not only with your coach but definitely with you as the director of our college placement, because the coach and you guys can make it easy, at least easy from a perspective of make sure they're headed in the right direction.
Sure. Yeah. And I would, the big piece to touch on, right? Because everybody, we've kind of talked about the athletic side, watching a game, style of play, those things, but really the biggest piece is the academic side. You have to make sure that you're taking care of things in the classroom. You have to continue to keep the GPA up as high as you can. When we talk about scholarships, when we talk about awards and different types of aid, there are thousands of dollars to be had based on high achieving academics, based on ACT scores, based on graduation rankings. And so, yes, it's great that a college coach sees you and sees value in you, but I don't ever want to push the wayside with the academic piece, right? It's one of the things that unfortunately people get stuck with. I've worked hard. I'm working hard on the field in practice in games. But maybe I let a chemistry class slip away, or maybe I had a bad semester. I didn't do great with my time management, and next thing you know, that GPA, it makes it a little more challenging, right? The schools are more competitive than they were. The average GPA a lot of times continues to climb, right? So where maybe we were 6, 8 years ago or 12 years ago, that GPA is a little higher, that admittance or acceptance rate maybe drops a little bit. So have to be mindful that yes, we're talking a lot athletically, but really academically, let's make sure we're on track. Let's make sure that we're not letting dollars slip away. There are some really fantastic scholarship opportunities in the state of Oklahoma for Oklahoma residents, regardless of the athletic piece, just in terms of academic awards, academic grants. Not to plug anybody specific, but I actually had an opportunity to talk to Mark Pearson, who's the gentleman that hired or recruited me down from Canada. But he's over at Southwestern, and he was just sharing kind of insight on, if a player or if a student athlete is graduating with, X GPA and, X ACT score, then there's a really, really nice financial package available. So as a parent of 4 children, who's also a soccer coach, and the college, sometimes we don't deposit into the college fund. We're kind of getting new shoes for the kids, but we want to take advantage of every opportunity. We want to make college as affordable as we possibly can for every single OEFC soccer graduate.
Yep, because scholarships make a big difference, and every parent, that's one of the top of mind things when they're thinking about college. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
So you also put together kind of some a sample letter, let's call it,
Sure.
for those players
Yeah.
who are thinking about
Yeah.
communicating with the college, and a kind of
Yep.
a sample player identification form, I guess?
Yeah. 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 I mean, both are, and I think we'll get those up on the website here shortly, but really, a lot of people, they've expressed interest, right? They know, I want to be a college player. I'm excited about doing it. They have the enthusiasm, but maybe don't necessarily know, how do I reach out to the coach? What do I say? How do I get them to be interested in me? They're not just going to show up at your field at 11 o'clock in the middle of a, OEFC showcase event, and they just happen to be on field 7 watching you play as a left back. So both of those are a way for the individual to reach out to a college coach. And what the letter is really just an invitation. Hey, coach, I know a lot about your program. I'm interested in looking at opportunities to potentially be a student athlete. My team is participating in this showcase event. I would love for you to take the time to come and watch me play, give me some feedback, evaluate me, and then obviously if you think that there's a potential fit there, to share that information with me. And so anytime you're doing that, you just want to have specific information. You're talking to the coach by name. It's not dear coach, and I just blanket, 50 emails out to everybody that's in there, and all of the emails are attached. And so when the coach goes to pull it up, he says, "Oh, I'm one of 50." It's literally, Coach Hampton, I think I might want to be a drover, right? And it's reaching out to these specific coaches, and it's saying, I know you've had a fantastic program, or maybe you're a new coach. OEFC, we actually just had a couple of new coaches move into the college ranks or back into the college ranks. So I'm excited again to promote our players and see if we can keep some more of those homegrown, keep our kids in the state and give them an opportunity to play. But it's just letting those coaches know, I know who you are. I want you to know who I am, and can you get out and watch me play? And so, as a college coach, I was lucky enough to be an assistant for Coach Hampton at USAO for eight years, I think, before I moved to Texas.
Gotcha.
And in that time, we couldn't chase after everybody. We had limited time and we had limited resources. And so we would look for players that were interested in us. And so if they took the time to reach out to us, we would reply or respond, obviously based on, guidelines and different standards. But if we were at a showcase, we would take the time to watch the player play. If they continue to email us, if they continue to send us video link, right? So back in the olden days, we would get VHS tapes in like a manila envelope.
Yeah, that's fun.
So I would stay up to college late and watch the VHS tapes. But nowadays, it's sending a YouTube link.
Yep.
But a college program it wants people to want them exactly the same as our players want to be wanted.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate all the insight, but I did want to spend a couple of minutes learning about you. Who
Sure.
is David Kunitz? Tell us a little bit about you. You said you were from Canada. When did you start playing soccer?
So I grew up, in Canada, because you have snow on the ground half of the year, you have to be a hockey player, and then you have a summer sport. My dad grew up as a baseball player. I was in that newfangled soccer thing that started back in the 80s in Canada. And so I grew up kind of being a soccer hockey dual sport. And you just kind of went from season to season. Really just enjoyed the idea of competition. I did some cross country, some track, some volleyball, different things like that as you get through that middle school age. But just as I got towards the end of high school, I was just really excited about the idea of carrying soccer as far as I could. I was in university actually for a couple of years and had made a decision to look at some universities in Canada. And Mark Pearson, who I referenced earlier, was up in Canada watching indoor soccer, right? Because there's snow on the ground in January and February. And so we're playing indoor soccer, and Coach Pearson had a chance to see myself and two other players from our hometown. And we met for coffee, talked about the opportunity to be a college athlete, to go to a new place, just kind of broaden your horizons, open up. And so, I really enjoyed that, had a conversation with my family and was excited to kind of take that step. Came down to Phillips University for 1 year. The school actually ran into financial difficulties and ended up having to close its doors. Little did I know that would open up a brand new door. That would introduce me to Coach Hampton, and I got a chance to captain the first team there, so transferred in and had a chance to play for Coach. And at the end of his season, he called me. I was back in Canada, shoveling snow probably, and asked if I would like to help him as a coach. And the invitation was to coach Drea Hampton, if she's watching. I don't know where she is, but Drea was 8 years old at the time. She was working on a little indoor team. And I would do one practice and one game a week. And it was a chance for me just to kind of introduce the idea of coaching. I wanted to be around the game as much as I could, just continue to grow there. And, probably like a lot of our, membership, when you find something you're excited about, you want to do more of it. When you do more of it, you enjoy it. You start to get a passion for it. You test yourself. You continue to grow. So really got the love of coaching. I became a college assistant, a high school coach, club coach, did that for 5-6 years. I actually met my wife through coaching. So who am I, Dave?
Oh, there you go.
Married to Kara, who I met at Beat the Heat. So there's a lot of different references and there's a lot of different ties with kind of who I am and where I came from. But so excited to continue the coaching path. Coaching has taken me to Texas, Colorado, and now back to Oklahoma for the second time. Allowed me to cultivate many really rich and meaningful relationships. I've had the opportunity to be mentored by some really fantastic coaches, and I hope that after doing this now for 20 years, that maybe there's people out there that want to garner some of the knowledge that I've taken and kind of learn from some of the mistakes I made. But it really is. It's an amazing opportunity. I love what I do. I get to do this every day. I'll end this call here and I'll jump in the car and drive over to the complex. But outside of that, I tell people soccer is what I do. It's not who I am. So committed husband, father. My wife and I have 4 kids. Love our kids to death. They're always ripping around the Edmond Soccer Complex. But 4 kids that are playing in the game. And really just love being in Oklahoma. It's been 2 years now. So it's just great to be back and just continue to stay around the game and enrich others as best I can.
Yep, it's an amazing sport. I think everybody, if they're watching this, probably believes the same thing. So we are right there in line with you. So, well, I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your probably very busy day to share this information with us. I think it's super important for our membership to understand, just where to start with college, or if college is the right thing, who to talk to, and you're a wonderful resource for this, folks. If you want to ask more questions, David's always available. It's dkunitz@okenergyfc.org. Shoot him an email. He's happy to respond. David, again, thank you for your time, and we'll chat with you later.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Take care. All right, guys. Really appreciate everybody tuning in and watching on this. Do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Provision Concept. If you guys haven't been out to one of their restaurants, get out there. I think most people probably have at this point. I spent a number of nights over at Bandy since they've opened, and they've been amazing. Great food. Hatch is one of my favorite places, and actually did Bira 2 nights in a row the other day just because the food was so good. So really get out, and thank you so much to Provision Concept for your support. OSO Orthodontics. Definitely, if you're into the age of orthodontics and needing braces, they are the people to talk to. They are supporting we're taking care of a number of the memberships of kids in our club, and they're strong supporters of soccer in Oklahoma, not just OEFC. Squirtle, check them out. They have a great app that we're trying to work with them to build OEFC into, where we can share scores live. But they're doing a lot of really great things with high school football right now that we're hoping on parlaying into OEFC soccer as well, including videoing and broadcasting key games. So look for more to come from them, but definitely a needed and wonderful sponsor. And then lastly, Mercy Sports Medicine. Chandra Dyer, just one of the greatest people you'll ever meet, a wonderful sports trainer. They are the official sports trainer of our OEFC ECNL programs. So they are out there for every ECNL and ECRL game. And there to help us make sure that we're doing the right things, keeping ourselves safe and fit. If you have a sport issue, or if you have a question, or an ache in a knee or something, reach out to them. Reach out to Chandra. She's happy to help assist, and they've got some wonderful doctors that can support them. So thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do this without you guys, and really, really appreciate everything that you guys do. With that, guys, thank you for tuning in to our August OEFC outlet, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful month. Get out and see some of these games as they're getting kicked off. Be ready for Paint the Pitch Pink. We want to make that bigger than we've made it every year. So get your T-shirt. They're going to be really, really cool T-shirts, and absolutely, go out there and have a fun time. Appreciate everything, everybody's support of our club, and we will see you on the pitch. Thanks, everybody.